All right, guys, let's see who's the first reading. Pisces. All right, so Pisces, this is going to be your reading. This is going to be an energy check of what you're going on, or the energies that are around you, situations, lessons, whatever. This is a general reading. Trust in the universe that when you're meant to watch this video is when you're meant to watch it. As I'm shuffling the cards, I want you guys to remember that these readings are remember that your readings are your guides. Okay, so what that means is that like your experiences and your choices, they do ultimately shape your day and the situations based upon your actions and your thoughts. Okay, that's why the future cannot be told, but God did give us free will. So I'm gonna keep that like that. Usually I'll flip them around the way they land, but that landed upside down. So okay, so but God did give us free will. So through source, I'm actually able to tell you or explain to you the energies that you're currently in, or the energies that are around you, so that you can see a situation maybe in a better way or in a different light. And that's for you to better understand what you're going through, what you're going on in your life, that you may be able to make better choices, or get the lesson that's trying to be learned, things like that. Okay, understand people better. King of Swords reverse. Wow. We have the Moon reverse and the King of Swords reverse so far. The Nine of Swords. You in your head about something, Pisces? Thank you, Spirit guys. I'm just truly grateful. What is it that Pisces needs to know? Whoa. I really don't want to take these many cards, but I mean, if Spirit wants us to, I suppose we have to. So you guys got 7 cards out here. Interesting. Actually, going right here. We'll put these 2 down here. All right, Pisces, let's find out what's going on. Also, guys, I live in a city. I have the window open. You're going to hear things. You hear cars. You hear whatever. And then also, I'm not perfect. I don't pretend to be perfect. Nothing in this world is perfect. So, I'm human. I screw up. Just know that all my readings are authentic and genuine. And I do not, I've seen some readings lately where people are actually taking other people's readings and just redoing them in their own voice, or they're re-looping it's just insane how much these are like. Everything in life, I guess, is being so deceptive, just to earn $1. This is not what this is about for me. I love doing tarot, and I'm going to do it forever, but I do it to help people. I have a gift, and Spirit wants you guys to know things get hard in life, things we don't understand, relationships, blah blah blah, and so this is a way to help get better clarity of what's going on. And that's why I love doing this. I'm not doing this for money. I'm not doing this to be famous. None of that. I'm just here to help, I guess you could say. So, people that are doing it in a deceptive way, they have to get right with God, I guess, So, anyways, let's get into your reading, Pisces. So, this is the Moon in reverse. The Moon is Pisces. Shockingly, it does represent the sign of Pisces, but it is in reverse, which means it's on a lower vibration or lower energy, if you will. The Moon card is number 18 in the major arcana, which 18 could represent something, or else could be 8 plus 1 is 9, so you could be life path 9. Could be have something to do with the number 9. Nines are the accumulation of it, like self, I guess you could say, or September. Just take it as it resonates, guys. Whatever 9 means to you, or 18 for that matter. So this is Pisces energy, like I said, and this is like an evolution, a path of like spiritual attainment, right? But this is in reverse, which means that it's on a lower energy, right? So this is like the path of blood, sweat, tears, in which fear, or maybe even intimidation, threatened with illusions, maybe an obsession with body, an obsession with like over exercising or over dieting. What that means is like there's no organization here, okay? So maybe you're being deceived by illusions, or there could be like a fear or being in the dark about something, right? So, yeah, so it just means like, you're letting something, and that makes sense with this too, because there's something that you're overthinking, or there's a fear here, or an illusion, or there's a path of blood, sweat, and tears in which fear and intimidation has threatened with illusions. So something that isn't so, right? There's something that you're maybe not fear or intimidation, but there's something here that an illusion, or something that you think could be real, that it's not. So that it creates fear, right? So there's no organization in something. You're being deceived by an illusion. And like I said, that could be like with like an obsession with body or exercise or over dieting, or like so maybe other people's perceptions, or maybe there's something that you're just not getting here. There's something that you're not seeing that creates the illusion, right? Or an obsession of something that doesn't matter. So then we have the King of Swords. So the King of Swords, all kings are attainment, success, right? Swords are air, kings are air. So, but this is in reverse also, which means it's on its lower polarity. Now, his key phrase is unveiling truths behind appearances. Swords represents our mind, our thoughts, our mentality, how we think, what we're thinking. So this is all, whatever this is, Pisces, this is all an illusion in your head. It's something that you might have created a situation and kind of brought it to left field, if you will, okay? Because of the fact that this has to do with our mind, this has to do with our mind, right? So there's something, you're overthinking something, or you're over obsessing with something that isn't so. And the more that we're stuck in our heads, the more it's not going to be so, I guess you can say. Our minds are our worst enemies, and it's going to always, because we are here, we're human, we know that our ultimate finalization in life is going to be death. We are always in survival mode. So our minds are geared to survive, and we will have the most outrageous situations and thoughts possible, because we're geared towards survival, okay? So keep that in mind when you get stuck in your head, and try to get out of your head, okay? So all kings are fixed signs of the zodiac. So this is actually Aquarius energy. But the kings, they know what they know. They're mature, they're not changing, they're success at their pinnacle, right? So this is air and air, like I said, so it's double air. So this is like, when it's upright, he sees, he has a pure mind, right? So when the reverse, what is that telling you? Well, on the lower polarity, it's telling you that you're not seeing things for what they really are, because there's something clouding your judgment. You're being deceiving, or there's an untruth, right? So, or maybe somebody could be using a truth as a weapon, because sometimes the truth may hurt, right? But he does have a clouded mind. He can't see things clearly. And the reason why is because he's clouded with other things, right? So that's what's creating the illusion or the obsession. There's something that's clouding your mind that you're not seeing clearly about, and that's creating this. So then we have the Eight of Swords. So swords represents air signs, which is Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And like I said, swords are they're like if you think about a sword, right? If you look at a sword, it looks like you could look at your reflection in it, right? Like a mirror. So it mirrors the quality of our mind. So this is about our thoughts, our behaviors, like it's a mental suit, okay? So you can see, and eights are seeking solutions. So you can see here that whatever is in your mind, you've actually created like a prison around it. It's now it's got you stuck, okay? Because like I said, our thoughts, our minds could be our worst enemies, because those thoughts, they're not so, but we get so stuck in our heads that we create this block, we create this prison, if you will. And look at, she can't see, she's got a blindfold on, she's like stuck. Do you see that? That's what happens when we get stuck in our mind. So basically that card is saying that there's something that you are overthinking, and you're stuck in your mind, and that's creating the cloud, and that's creating this illusion, or the obsession, or whatever it is that's on your mind that's not so, I guess, if you will. So like I said, eights are seeking solutions. This is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is a mental suit, and you are seeking solutions. It is also about intellect too as well. So this is Jupiter and Gemini. So Jupiter is a planet of expansion, so it's very big. Gemini is duality. It's the good and the bad, right? Gemini is also known for communication. It's also from the planet Mercury, so there's like a lot of thoughts, right? But this card specifically is the Lord of Shortened Force, okay? So there's a deterrent here. Stop thinking, stop talking, meditate, okay? You need to pull in your center. You need to get, get back into your center, be self, and calm down. And when you do that, your mind will become clear, okay? Then you can wiggle out of these binds, and help is at hand here, and that isolation is not so. So if you've been isolating or stuck in your head, that means that's the illusion, right? So you're not alone. You're not. People do care, things like that. We think, oh well, probably nobody cares. Well, How would you know that? If that's the only thing that you're thinking, and you're not, when you're thinking, you're not doing, which means that, like, if you're like, well, they probably don't care. Well, then you're not asking them if they care. You're just assuming that. So when you're thinking, you're not doing. So try to do more doing and less thinking, okay? This is the Ace of Wands. Wands are our fire signs, which is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And aces are on the top of the tree of life, which means that they're not tainted. They're of God. They're of spirit. They're pure, right? There's something here that wants to grow. There's something here that, this is like the beginning of, like, it's pure spirit, right? So these are change cards. There's a change coming. There's something big that's happening. There's a strong force. So you need to take it seriously. This, like I said, is closest to heaven. God's hand is in this. So it's protected. It has a lot of vitality. This is fire. This is the Lord of inspiration. So there's growth, right? It's very dignified. There's a lot of power, energy, vitality. It's very potent. Okay, so it's becoming and being alive. All right. So something does want to grow here. So we have the Four of Cups. Cups represents our water signs, which is Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So this is your element, or your energy, if you will. Fours are like mercy. They're from Jupiter, right? So fours, they actually give without regard of the merit of deservingness. Okay, so it's like order, how to achieve by being solid, or like stability, but this is on the lower polarity, right? So this is the moon and Cancer. Here's the moon energy again, and then Cancer is also like being very determined about something, right? So this is the Lord of blended pleasure. So on the lower polarity, it means that you're missing the point about something, okay? When you miss the point about something, then the results are always going to be disappointing, right? You could be numb about something, like you're just not feeling anything anymore, or bored, or also like burdened from this, right? So this is where like Spirit's trying to offer you something, and you're just not taking it. You're not even seeing it, right? You're not seeing something. He sees, but this is on the lower polarity, so he's not seeing, because you're in the dark, right? Why are you in the dark? Because you put yourself there, right? And Spirit, you can't see what Spirit's trying to give you, and they're trying to offer you that cup, and the cup is usually either like your intuition. So trust your intuition. Stop doubting yourself. Get out of your head. When you act on your intuition, it's a feeling. You can hear the plane, guys. I told you, I live in the city. But anyways, when you act upon your intuition, it's because you feel your intuition. You're not thinking about your intuition. You feel it in your soul, right? So you're not thinking about it. Thinking is not doing. If you're thinking, you're not doing, right? So they're trying to offer you, like, it could be your intuition. It could be love. It could be a feeling, an emotion. So or some kind of psychic development, or like spirituality, something like that. But you're not even seeing it, because you're focused on it. You can't see it because you got this blindfold on. You can't see because it's clouded, because you're in the dark. But something here wants to grow. There's something here that wants to start, but you're not seeing it. So then we have the Seven of Pentacles. Sevens are seeking solutions. Or no, sorry. Eights are seeking solutions. That's what. Sevens are illusionary success. Okay, so a lot of illusions here because you're stuck in your head. Get out of your head, Pisces. Okay, so these are Pentacles. Pentacles are Earth signs, which is Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn energy. As you can see, this is one of my favorite cards, and I'll tell you why. Because of the illusion. When you think you see it, when you think you know what you see, right? And that's the whole point in this right here. This is all an illusion, whatever you're stuck in your head about, and that's what Spirit's trying to tell you, right? That something's trying to grow here. They're trying to give you something, and a gift or something, and you're not seeing it, right? So that I'm going to show you in a second how magical these cards are. But sevens are like victory, desire. This card is Venus, so it's love. It could be love. But this is like our desired nature. It's illusionary success. What we desire, what we want, or how we use the energy to get it, right? So the Seven of Pentacles represents our earth signs, like I said, so it could be something in our physical material world. This in particular is Saturn and Taurus. So Saturn is a planet of karma, and Taurus is the Hierophant. It's like a spiritual teacher, or our inner teacher, right? So they're very set in their way. Tauruses are very set in their ways. And that's why they're very stubborn, to be honest with you. Like, you can't change their mind about things because they're set in their beliefs. That's the way they are. That's why it's like an inner teacher, I guess, if you will. They have a lot of wisdom. But this card is the Lord of unfulfilled success. Okay, so what that means is, like, this is a heavy sign, which is Taurus, on a fixed earth. So this is like, you're doing much better than what you know, okay? You need to reassess something. You need to reassess your value system. You need to figure out, like I said, you meditate and get your mind clear, and everything will become clear of whatever you're going through. Okay, and then you're going to be able to start seeing things for what they really are, right? And this will be upright, and then this will be upright, and then this will be upright. And you could take this blindfold off and wiggle out of these binds and get those swords down of the actual prison that you created. If you can see here, there's water right here, and that's your energy, right? And the thing about this card too is that Spirit wants you to know that you don't need to see where you're going, right? You don't need to touch and feel and see where you're going. As long as you trust your intuition and you act on your intuition, which is a feeling, you can never trip up. You'll never trip up, and you will go the right way as long as you trust in your intuition, trust in yourself. That's you trusting in Spirit, trusting in yourself. And you need to, okay? Because if you keep doubting yourself and you have illusions and clouded minds, you are going to trip up. You are not, you aren't going to see things for what they are. And then this is what happens, right? You need to reassess your value system. So here's this card, right? You see this guy, he's looking at this, he's like, God, I put all this work in here. I did all this for this. He looks down at it, it looks like he's like disappointed, like, come on, this is all I got out of this? It's kind of like what is that saying called? Reaping the rewards of your labor, or whatever that is. Like this is all I got from it. Now let's change our minds. Let's change our mindset. Let's trust in ourselves and trust in Spirit, right? Let's say, you know what? Yeah, it was hard and it took a long time, but maybe it wasn't so bad. Maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought it was, and that's what Spirit's trying to tell you, that, you're doing a lot better than what you actually think that you're doing. Because now when you have that mindset, look at this card. Now doesn't it look like he's looking down at it adoringly and not disappointing like before? That's the power of mind. That's how strong our minds are. It did completely change the whole card. So that's the reason why I love that card so much. So life is really what we make it, what we choose, how we choose to see it, right? But we can't see it if you're in the dark, or if you have a clouded mind, or if you're creating this prison being stuck in your head, right? You can't see the gifts that Spirit's trying to give you if all this is happening. And then we have the Fool card in reverse. So this is a new beginning. This is something that wants to begin, but this is in reverse because you're clouded, guys. Because you're too much stuck in your heads. You gotta get out of your heads, guys. It's not, yes, our minds are there and we're very intelligent people. The most smartest person ever could be stuck in their head. And like Albert Einstein, he was so smart that he drove himself mad. He drove himself crazy. So that's why you have to incorporate your thoughts and your mind with your feelings. Like how we feel. We are spiritual beings. Humans are spiritual beings. Others, we wouldn't have a soul. We would just have brains, right? So you have to incorporate how you feel and trust in how you feel. Don't just think about it, because you're going to create this prison, because our minds will go to the most extreme all the time because we're set on survival. Okay? So the Fool card is Uranus. It is number 0 on the major arcana. When it's in reverse, this is like foolishness, okay? Or eccentric, like being too eccentric, like too much energy, right? Or like wild, crazy schemes, or like taking chances on something that you shouldn't be, or being reckless about something, or you're just not taking the leap at all. You're just like stagnant or in isolation. You're just frozen because you don't know what to do. Well, you don't, because you can't see where you're going. You don't know where to go from here. Whatever it is that wants to grow, it's not able to, because you're stuck. So whatever situation you're stuck in your mind about, you're wondering if it was even worth it. Well, how are you going to know if you don't even take that leap? You have to take that leap to find out. And even if it's bad or it doesn't turn out the way you expected, you're going to learn something from that. So either way, it's a win-win situation. But when you sit here stagnant or stuck, you're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to win anything at all, because you never even started the race. How can you win the race if you don't even start? Right? And if you all start, this is what you're going to do. Well, should I even start this race? Because what if I start this race and I don't win, right? Or what if I start this race and then people think that I'm a loser, or whatever the situation is. Or what if I hurt myself? Like that's us being stuck in our head. Well, somebody wants to start. The more that we fail at something, the more better we get at it, because with every fail, with every thing that we do wrong, we learn something from that. We grow, we have more experience, we do it better next time. So without failure, there's no success. So you can't automatically assume that you're going to win every single race. You're not. And that's just the way life is. But every race that you lose, you're going to know how to get better at that race every time. And then pretty soon, guess what? You're going to know what to do. But you're not going to even be able to ever be able to get there if you don't even start. Okay? So get out of your heads, start trusting your intuition, be able to start seeing things more. Get out of your heads, guys. Start trusting in your feelings and your emotions. Know that even if it doesn't work out the way that you wanted to, you still gain something from it. It's a win-win. You're still more experienced, right? It's not about winning, you guys. And it's not about, like, life isn't about the destination. It's about the journey. Meaning that, you know, if we want the best cars and the best relationship and the best body and the best, that's the obsession. And that's also an illusion, because you're going to sit there and try to work at that your whole entire life, and you're going to miss the whole point. That's what Spirit said. You're missing the whole point, because it's not about what you have or how, like, it's the actual, like, memories of getting there, or like the experience of getting there. It's not what we actually have, because in the end, we don't take any of it with us anyways, guys. Okay, so get out of your heads. Get that whatever illusion, you know, whatever it is that you're doing, or the obsession, or something that isn't so, you know, you need to get out of your heads and start trusting your intuition. Let something grow. Let Spirit give you what they're trying to give you. And just know that no matter what, either way, it's not going to be so bad. In the grand scheme of things, it's all just a blink of an eye, but you have to start it. You have to take that leap. And don't be reckless. Don't be making foolish decisions, right? Get out of your heads, guys, okay? So there's your reading, Pisces. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. And then I also will be doing about how they feel about your reading after these readings. So thank you so much, guys. Love and light.